Hi everyone, so this is going to be my second video today, and I'm not actually going to talk about fish, but I'm going to talk about aquarium. So these are sort of house plants, terrestrial plants that can go in the aquarium but not be fully submerged. So your riparian vegetation is the proper word for it. So you have commonly, most likely, you're going to be using something like, ignore the black-beard algae, but this is a pothos. So this is a golden pothos. I believe it's Epipremnum aureum, and these can go quite big. They are probably your easiest to keep in the aquarium. This is probably one of my bigger vines, and it is dripping all over. So it is, the golden pothos generally will have slight variegation on the leaf, and this is probably your most common, and they can get massive. The Epipremnum aureum is one of your bigger ones, and they grow very easily in lower lighting, no lighting, but how much nutrients will restrict their growth. So in my aquariums they tend not to grow so big because they have very low nutrients in the aquarium in the first place. They're more for decorative purposes. So next plant is this one, and this does only want its roots submerged. So it will not enjoy having any of these stems actually really much in the water. So this is the Chinese lucky plant, Chinese lucky bamboo. It's actually Dracaena. It's not a bamboo. I don't think it's even part of the grass family at all. So these I have actually trimmed to try and get this sort of lovely bamboo like thing up. So yeah, it's okay. They do tend to grow up like this and look a bit more like a rice plant, so they're not really my personal favourite. So the next one is another type of Epipremnum. I think it is a variant of the Epipremnum aureum. So this is the marble queen. So this one is a variegated plant, and it's very heavily variegated, and variegation does depend on how much light. So it gets a lot of light. So you can see this leaf is practically white. But luckily I don't think it causes issues with the actual plant based on the white, because it's got such a yellow tinge to it. So we've got, so finally, this one is probably one of your ones you probably might not have tried. So this is usually sold as a Monstera obliqua. This is actually Monstera adansonii. Although when you look at the botanical records of obliqua, it can be a bit confusing because obliqua doesn't always have holes, and I think it's the Peruvian or Bolivian one that tends not to have big holes, and they don't have it when young. But this is Monstera adansonii. So you can see this is an absolutely beautiful plant, and with age they get more fenestrations, which the fenestrations are the holes. Other pothoses, philodendrons, can get these fenestrations as well. So these generally prefer to climb on something, and their leaves will get bigger. Same with pothos if they're actually climbing on something, which isn't really easy to do in the aquarium. But these, I find, these are most prone to actually having shock when put in the water, or they tend not to acclimatise well. So I tend to kind of get a cutting of another one that I'm willing to risk rather than buy a plant. So this is actually an Aroid, the same with all of them apart from the Dracaena. And these are in the same, I think Aroid is a family, I'm not familiar with plant taxonomy, same family as your Nubis. So you can see these are absolutely beautiful plants, and I love them. I don't care if people say they're common. I have another Epipremnum aureum there. This is not one for the aquarium, this is a philodendron plougmanii. Okay, so the final two plants. This is a satin pothos, and I got this actually from Hampton Court Flower Show. They do trail like your normal pothos. Mine is actually in a hanging basket, and these, I think they tend to grow bigger with stronger root systems actually in a hanging basket. That's had too much light perhaps, because these are actually hanging outside at the moment, even in the UK, or it could be frost damage, oops. So this can actually grow in water, and it is very easy to put cuttings in water. So this is another sort of similar to pothos. I think it could be a Scindapsus or a normal philodendron, but I'm not entirely sure on what it actually is. Oh, I don't think it's like being in full sun. So yeah, these are tolerant in low shade anyway. I believe the more light you have, the more of this white coloration you get in the newer leaves. But yeah, so this is, they all do get quite big, and that you could just put the cuttings. All of these want to just have their roots in the water. So next one is, so this last one is Monstera delicosa or delicosa. So this is the same genus as the Monstera adansonii, the smaller leafed one. They can all get pretty big leaves, but this tends to grow a lot quicker and be a lot bigger, so it is more of a larger aquarium one, as these roots, the aerial roots, oh my god, this thing is a monster. It's not actually that big, do get quite big, and they do grow quite vigorously. This plant isn't that old, and it can be best if you want a bigger looking plant to get multiple ones in the same pot. So these do get fenestrations, not just here but also in between the larger ones. I can't, this one might be easier. And this is damage, it's not actually the real thing. So it will need more nutrients, I think, and in the aquarium, if you have a monster fish, it might actually work better because there'll be faster nutrients produced. You can also put them in filters. That could actually work even better if you had a sump of some kind. This will prefer more light, as will the variegated ones prefer even more light. It's very similar to Monstera delicosa borgiana, which is a subspecies, and this one can be identified and separated because generally it's easier with the large plants. They're less binding in Monstera delicosa, but this has lovely ripples in the actual stem thing. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'm going to try and make more videos as I have time. Thank you.